In today's video, we're checking out the Hollyland Lark M2S wireless solution. The Lark M2S is a dual transmitter to single receiver wireless pack that can either be used to a mirrorless camera or to a phone thanks to its included secondary receiver. This is without question the smallest and lightest wireless pack I've ever used. And guess what? You're listening to it right now. Check out how small this microphone is right here. Let's get into it. Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. In today's video, we're checking out a brand new wireless pack from the folks over at Hollyland. This is the Lark M2S wireless pack. If you know the channel, you know I've reviewed a bunch of wireless packs over the last few years. We're also going to compare this in the studio up against a few well-known ones just to see how it compares in terms of sound quality. We're going to put this through its paces outside. I'll do the all-important distance test. We'll do a vlogging test and check out what kind of results we can get from it. Before we get into this video, a huge thank you to Hollyland for sending out a pair of these to the channel. I really appreciate it. If you want to check these out, I'll link them down in the description box below. Let's cover everything that we get in the box. First up, we get some instructions, a warranty card, and a quick start guide. Included, there's a charging case, which not only helps keep everything organized, but once the case is charged, it will then charge everything without even needing to be plugged in. There's two transmitters, and as you can see, these are absolutely tiny. Included, we get two slip-on windscreens for using these packs outdoors, and we'll test that coming right up. There's an on-camera receiver and a separate USB receiver for use with phones. While the receiver is USB-C, there's a lightning adapter included in the pack to make it work with older iPhones like mine as well if you need to, so that's pretty cool. There's also a USB-A to USB-C cable for charging the case, a little bag that can be used to carry everything, which I really like, and there's also a 3.5mm audio cable for use with mirrorless cameras. While I am testing the Lark M2S in this particular review video, just know there's also a variation on this pack which comes only with the USB receiver for your phone. So if you're only going to be using this with a mobile phone, that option's available also. As I mentioned at the start of the video, this is the smallest wireless pack system I've ever personally used. The transmitters only weigh 7 grams, which is almost unnoticeable on your shirt. I can't even tell that I'm wearing it. Ideally, you would sort of want to clip it on like this, or if you're wearing a t-shirt, you can clip it down this way. Either way though, it's an omnidirectional polar pattern, so it's going to pick up sound evenly from all around it. These tiny transmitters have a maximum runtime of 9 hours with a single charge, and they take approximately 1 hour to charge back to full. I'm sort of shocked at the battery life with these being that they're as small as they are. The receiver is also the smallest one I've ever seen, and it has a maximum runtime of 8.5 hours. With a full charge on the case, it's designed to recharge everything included in the pack at least twice before you need to recharge this itself. Now, to charge up the case will take about 1.5 hours for a full charge. The great news is though, even if the case isn't charged, it will begin charging the receiver and transmitters as soon as it's plugged in. The phone receiver plugs directly into your mobile, so it's completely passive and doesn't require charging itself. Unlike a lot of the other packs I've tested in recent times, there's no LCD screen on any of the units due to their size. I actually don't mind this considering it's as small and as light as it is. You do get LED indicators which flash different colors depending on which mode you're in. There's also an LED indicator on the back of the case letting you know how charged the case is itself. Let's talk about switching between mono and stereo. So you can switch just by holding down the volume control knob for 3 seconds, and this switches modes. The blue light is always on in stereo mode and the green light is on for mono mode. The volume knob also has 3 adjustable volume levels between high, medium and low. For my Lumix GH7 here with the gain set to -16 dB, I never had to push it past medium on the receiver. Both transmitters support noise cancellation by pushing in the button on the side until the light goes green. The light will be blue if the noise cancellation is not on, or off. It's an easy way of saying that. I would suggest leaving this off for most situations anyway, but we'll test that a little bit later on. This pack uses 24-bit depth audio quality, and as long as your camera has decent audio preamps, you'll get a nice clean signal recorded at the end. Before I forget, if you are using the on-camera receiver, which is the one with the 3.5mm audio jack, that supports both mono and stereo, whereas the phone receiver over here only supports dual channel mono audio only. Just a quick heads up for this next test out in the field here. Noise cancellation was actually on, not off. I said it was off, it isn't. We'll test it on and off in just a moment. Let's do the all-important distance test now. This Hollyland pack is rated up to 300 meters line of sight. As you can see, I've got the little wind muff thing on right now as well. So we're going to test whether or not this does a good job out in the field as I'm walking around, because the wind noise will be increased. I'm also going to break line of sight by turning around every now and then, and we're going to see whether or not the pack recovers and how fast it recovers. And if it does anything weird or loses signal, I'll leave some information on screen. Now, as I mentioned, this doesn't have internal recording, so you're pretty much stuck with whatever gets recorded. This is easily 10 meters or more back. I'm just going to turn around, break line of sight, and see how well it does in this type of situation. I'll go back a little bit further here. I'm looking at my monopod, just hoping that the wind doesn't pick up or do anything crazy while I'm testing this. I do have a bag holding it down, but this is a decent amount of distance away from the camera, as you can probably tell. I'm going to turn around and line of sight. I'm just going to start walking back toward the camera to replicate a walk and talk. Nothing's between this transmitter and the receiver on my Panasonic GH7, so we're going to see how well it does in this type of scenario. Now, this isn't without the noise cancellation on or anything like that, so you can get a good sense of how it works just straight out of the box. So let us know what you think, and I'll comment on this as soon as I get back to the studio. Let's do a quick vlogging test now, and this is how it sounds with noise cancellation currently off on the wireless pack. Take note to see if you can hear a whole lot of wind noise, because it's quite windy right now. I know I have no hair, so you can't probably tell, but it is quite windy. And we're going to see if there's also any foot noise coming through the microphone as I walk around. And this is the kind of results you can get with noise cancellation currently off. And now we've got noise cancellation on, so the light on the receiver is green. Let us know if you can hear a huge difference between the audio quality. Let's switch it back, and back with noise cancellation off. It's always hard to do this outside because the wind constantly changes. But anyway, I'll talk more about the results at the end of this video. Let's talk about the difference between mono and stereo mode. So I'm in mono mode right now, and I can use either one microphone, which will be recorded evenly between the left and right channels, or both, and they won't be mixed separately. It basically just mixes them all into both channels, and you have no way of changing this in post-production. So it's good for live streaming, but not necessarily great for an interview. Let's switch to stereo. By holding the volume button down for a few seconds, the lights will change from green, which was mono mode, to blue, which is stereo, and now I've got two independent channels of audio that I can mix down in post. Now, the benefit of this is if you're doing an interview and someone's nice and quiet, or they're talking softly and someone else is really loud, in post you can bring one up and bring one down and get a very balanced mix. So again, stereo mode is perfect for an interview situation. All right, let's talk about usability. So one thing I have noticed with these little wind filters is they're awfully hard to get on. So just keep that in mind. You got to really sort of fumble around with them a bit. And once they're on, it seems to be very secure, but I'm also finding it challenging to find this button if I'm working from the front. So to find it now is quite a challenge. If I'm going to turn on noise cancellation, I'm going to knock the microphone, and there's no other way around it. I have to sort of fiddle around with the back of the mic and then touch the button. And as you can see, I'm still struggling. There it is. So I've just turned on noise cancellation. So that's the kind of process. It's bit more fiddly than I might find with larger packs, but overall, man, it's so comfortable. I don't even know that it's on. Let's try the background noise cancellation. There's plenty of cars going by right now. I'm outside. You can hear the traffic lights blinking. It's another reason why I'll be moving away from this house coming up pretty soon. There's always something noisy going on. So anyway, let's turn on the noise cancellation and we'll get a good sense of the difference. And now with the noise cancellation currently enabled, let us know if you can hear a huge difference between this off and on. Just in my tests, it actually works pretty well, though it does kind of change the sound quality slightly. We'll talk more about this a little bit later on, but there's plenty of cars going by and it's way louder than it probably sounds. Let's turn it back off, and back with it currently off. So this is just the standard mode. Odds are you can hear a lot more cars than you could hear just before, but let us know what you think. Now let's quickly do a mobile phone test. This is my iPhone 11. So to get all of this to work, I was unable to use this. This must just be for Android phones only. I thought because it had a USB-C port on the side, I could use it with that lightning port, but I couldn't get it to work with my particular phone. So I'm using the regular wireless receiver. It's kind of just hanging off the end here. You can probably rig it up and make it work, but the audio quality on this in my tests so far have been really positive. I think it sounds great just going directly into my phone. Although it's a bit of a clunky setup with a cable and a wireless pack, kind of just hanging off like this. This is the kind of audio quality you can get, and of course you can use this at a distance if you've got a tripod rig sorted. Let's do a quick audio comparison between the Hollyland Lark M2S and a few different wireless packs. Let's start with this one. This is with noise cancellation off. And now you're listening to the Godox Move Link 2. This is another dual transmitted a single receiver pack that I reviewed quite some time ago. I've used this on the channel plenty over the last year or so. Let us know what you think of the audio quality. And now you're listening to the Rode Wireless Go 2, which is pretty much a standard if you're talking about folks who create content thanks to that internal recording. But this is a test of its audio quality directly to the camera. Let's switch it up. And back to the Hollyland Lark M2S. Let's switch it up. And back to the Godox wireless pack. It'll be really interesting for me to give this a listen a little later on, just to see how they all compare. And now we're back to the Rode Wireless Go 2, and one thing that I just had to show you is the size comparison between the Hollyland Lark microphone, which is this little small circle side here, versus this. So yeah, there you go. Look at the size difference. And lastly, back to the Hollyland Lark M2S. Now this puts into perspective how small this unit is. I can barely feel that I'm wearing it compared to the others. All right, let's wrap this up and talk about the pros and cons of the Hollyland Lark M2S. And if you found this video helpful, please drop a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. So let's talk about the distance test. I was shocked to see that it didn't disconnect right away when I broke line of sight, which puts this ahead of basically every other pack I've reviewed in the last 6 months or so. It's right up there with the Synco A2 G2 pack that I reviewed alongside the Rode Wireless Go 2. While it did glitch out at about 30 meters or so, the recovery time was excellent. While I didn't go to 300 meters back or anything like that, most wireless packs fail, even when you turn around at about a distance of 10 meters or so, and this didn't, which is excellent. I also didn't notice any low frequency footstep noise when I did my vlogging test, and it gets another point there. In terms of overall audio quality, I really like this pack. With noise cancellation off, it sounded great, and with noise cancellation on, it's still usable. Now, most wireless packs that have noise cancellation systems built in, I would usually avoid like the plague. But on this one, it's actually usable, which is pretty cool. That said, the windsocks don't work as well as other packs I've tested. It was probably a lot windier than it looked while I was outside, and the wind noise was still audible on my recording. So the only real way around this is to either add a second layer of wind protection to the microphone or use the noise cancellation feature, or of course you can just do that in post. Overall, the fidelity of this pack is great, and I would have no issues recommending this in terms of audio quality when the mic is positioned as intended on a shirt like this. The size, weight, and convenience of this pack really makes it a winner. And while it doesn't record internally or have an LED screen, it's still very usable overall, and it's a great little pack for content creators or filmmakers, people shooting interviews, for example. I would just make a mental note to check to see whether or not noise cancellation is on or off before filming, because it does sound better with noise cancellation off than on, and there's no way to fix this in post if it's on by mistake, so just double check that ahead of filming. Overall, this is a solid pack. It's small, light, portable, and has exceptional battery life and solid audio quality. Thanks again for watching. My name's Shane. If you want to watch another one of my videos, you can click on this one on screen. See you on the next one. See ya.